Let's be honest, it is a terrible feeling when the woman you love starts picking at everything you do. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It starts with small things. Maybe she makes a little joke about how much money you make, or she rolls her eyes when you dress up to go out. Then she starts comparing you to other men, maybe a guy at her work or her friend's husband. Suddenly you feel like you are walking on eggshells in your own home. You start thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why am I never enough for her? But I want you to stop right there and take a deep breath, because in this video, I'm going to share something that most men never discover until it is far too late. When a woman talks down to you, looks down on you, or criticizes you constantly, it is almost never about your worth as a man. It is actually about her. It is about her own hidden battles, her fears, and a quiet power struggle she is desperately trying to win. And here is what makes this so painful. You are probably a good man. You show up, you try, you love her, and yet somehow, no matter what you do, it never feels like enough. That slow erosion of your confidence does not happen overnight. It creeps in quietly, one small comment at a time, until one day you look in the mirror and barely recognize the man staring back at you. If that resonates with you, I want you to know you are not alone, and you are not broken. I hear from men every single week who are going through exactly this. So right now, in the comments below, tell me, have you ever felt like you were shrinking inside a relationship? Just type yes if this has ever been your experience. Your honesty might be the thing that helps another man feel less alone today, and it truly helps this community grow. Today we are going to look at the 4 real psychological reasons why women do this. And I am not just going to hand you theories. I am going to walk you through the exact signs to watch for, the deep psychology behind each one, and the precise, calm, emotionally intelligent strategies to handle this behavior without losing your cool, without begging for her approval, and without destroying what could still be a salvageable relationship. I am your host, Mary Smith, of the Senior Mindful Living YouTube channel. And if this is your first time here, I want you to hit that subscribe button right now, because every video on this channel is designed to help you understand the deeper psychology of relationships, emotional health, and human behavior. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss what we share next. Now let's talk about reason number 1. And this one runs deeper than most men ever realize. The absolute number 1 reason a woman will start talking down to you, belittling you, or making you feel small has nothing to do with your failures. It has everything to do with her own deeply buried insecurities. Here is how psychology explains it. When a person carries a painful gap between who they are and who they wish they were, they experience what researchers call a negative self-concept. And when that gap becomes unbearable, the human mind looks for an exit. There are 2 paths available. You can do the hard, humbling work of personal growth, or you can drag the person beside you downward until the gap disappears. For some women, making you feel smaller is the psychological shortcut to feeling more equal, more in control, and safer inside themselves. Think about a woman named Patricia. She had always dreamed of a thriving career, financial independence, and a life that felt exciting. But somewhere along the way, life did not cooperate. Her career stalled, her confidence faded, and when she looked at her partner, a man with quiet ambition, a kind heart, and real potential, instead of feeling grateful, she felt threatened. Not because he was doing anything wrong, but because his growth held up a mirror to her own stagnation. So she started chipping away at him. A comment about his clothes, a joke about his salary, a comparison to her colleague who drove a nicer car. Little by little, she tried to dim his light so she would not have to face the darkness of her own. You can spot this pattern clearly if you pay attention. Watch how she talks about other people, especially other men. You will notice she frequently drops hints about her own options. She will casually mention that other men are interested in her, messaging her, chasing her. She might say something like, "You are lucky I chose to be with you, because there are plenty of men who would treat me so much better." This is not confidence. This is a psychological defense mechanism called preemptive devaluation. She is lowering your perceived value before you can choose to leave on your own terms. Research in attachment psychology shows that people with anxious or fearful attachment styles often sabotage relationships when they feel they are with someone too good for them, because deep down, they are waiting to be abandoned. Another unmistakable sign is how she responds when you are thriving. When you start going to the gym, dressing better, earning praise at work, or simply moving forward with purpose, an insecure woman will not cheer for you. She will look for a way to rain on your parade. She will make a cutting remark about your new shirt. She will minimize your promotion. She will tell you that your goals are unrealistic. And it will sting because it comes from the person who is supposed to be your safe harbor. But understanding why she is doing it gives you a powerful advantage. Her reaction to your growth is not a reflection of your worth. It is a measurement of her fear. So how do you handle this? The most common mistake men make is defending themselves. They get emotional, they argue, they list everything they have ever done for her, as if presenting enough evidence will finally make her see them clearly. But here's the psychological truth. The moment you seek her approval to validate your own worth, you have handed her the remote control to your confidence. You are now operating on her emotional frequency, and she will change the channel whenever it suits her. What you need instead is what psychologists call non-reactive self-assurance. The next time she tries to use the threat of other men or comparisons to shake your confidence, do not raise your voice. Do not argue. Look her calmly in the eyes and say something like this. If you genuinely believe someone else can give you a better life, you are completely free to find out. But I will not sit here and be disrespected. If you want to stay, we speak to each other with respect. If you want to leave, the door is open. That response does not come from anger. It comes from a man who has decided that his self-respect is non-negotiable. And that, psychologically speaking, is what shifts the entire dynamic. Now let's move into reason number 2, and this one is more calculated. Some women belittle the men in their lives because they have a deep, compulsive need for control. Every relationship involves an unspoken negotiation for influence. But when that need for control becomes toxic, making you feel small becomes her primary tool. A man who respects himself cannot be easily manipulated. A man who knows his own worth says no when something is wrong. So to keep you compliant, a controlling woman has to quietly dismantle your internal compass. She has to make you doubt your instincts, your judgment, and eventually your own sanity. Psychologists call this pattern coercive control, and one of its most insidious forms is the repeated, targeted use of criticism to erode a partner's confidence over time. Think of a man named David. When he first got together with his partner, he was full of energy. He had a clear vision for his future, a solid group of friends, and a hobby he loved. Slowly, so slowly that he barely noticed, she began commenting on his friends. They are not serious people. She questioned his hobbies. That is such a waste of your time. She redirected his money, his schedule, his social life. Every choice he made was met with doubt or criticism, and eventually David stopped making choices at all. He started asking for permission, not because he became weak, but because he was gradually trained to believe that his judgment could not be trusted without her approval. That is not love. That is a cage with a comfortable couch inside it. The clearest sign of this power dynamic is the toxic comparison game. She compares you to other men, her friend's husband, a colleague, a man she follows online, and uses those comparisons to set a standard you can never quite reach. Because the standard is not real. It is a moving goalpost designed to keep you perpetually trying, perpetually proving, and perpetually grateful for whatever scraps of approval she decides to give you. If you recognize yourself in this pattern, here's what I want you to do. Stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your decisions to her. Stop asking for her feedback before you act. Begin making calm, quiet, independent decisions and simply informing her of them, not requesting permission. I am going out with the guys tonight. I will be back later. Not a question. Not an apology. A statement from a man who is still standing. Reason number 3 is one that requires a great deal of emotional intelligence to navigate, because it is deeply painful and it requires compassion alongside firmness. Sometimes, a woman belittles the man she is with because she is quietly, bitterly unhappy with her own life, and rather than facing that unhappiness directly, she turns you into an emotional outlet for all of it. Psychologists call this displaced aggression, when frustration that originates in one area of life gets redirected onto a safe, available target. And in a relationship, you become that target. This often happens when a woman has entered a relationship carrying unprocessed grief from a previous one. Maybe she had her heart broken by someone she truly wanted. Maybe she made choices she regrets, a career she abandoned, a dream she let go of, a version of her life she grieved in silence. She does not know how to mourn those things openly, so the grief curdles into resentment. And since you are present and she trusts you enough to be vulnerable, even in the most painful, ugly way, you absorb the weight of everything she cannot say out loud. You will recognize this pattern because communication breaks down completely. She stops trying to solve problems with you. Every conversation becomes a setup for a passive-aggressive comment. She sighs when you enter the room. She says things like, "You always do this," or "Nothing is ever good enough coming from you." If you sit down, genuinely and gently, and ask her what is really wrong, She either goes silent or brings up something that happened years ago, something that was never really about you to begin with. Your move here is not to absorb the anger, and it is not to retaliate. It is to draw a line that is absolutely clear, delivered with complete calm. You look at her and you say, "I can see that you are carrying something heavy right now, and I genuinely want to support you. But I will not be spoken to with disrespect. I am your partner, not your punching bag. If this continues, I am going to leave for the night, and we are going to need to have a serious conversation about where this relationship is going." And then, this is the part that matters most, if she crosses that line again, you leave. Not in anger, not with a slam door, you simply remove your presence, calmly and completely. A boundary that has no consequence is just a politely worded suggestion. Now, the fourth and final reason, and this one, once you understand it, will completely change how you interpret certain behaviors. Sometimes a woman belittles the man she loves, not because she wants to destroy him, but because she is unconsciously testing him. Evolutionary psychology suggests that women are biologically wired to assess the strength, stability, and reliability of their partners. Not because they are trying to be difficult, but because they need to know, on a primal level, whether the man they are with can hold steady when the world pushes back. And the easiest way to find out if he is steady? Push him herself and watch what happens. These tests come as sudden, unexpected challenges to your confidence. A sharp comment about a decision you just made, a public question about whether you really know what you are doing, a mocking remark about a goal you are working toward. She is watching your face. She is watching your body language. She wants to see if her words will make you doubt yourself, lose your composure, or scramble to justify your choices. If you crumble, if you immediately change course because she questioned you, or if you start explaining and defending, she registers that as a failure. Not consciously, perhaps, but somewhere deep in her psychology, she notes that your confidence is fragile. And a woman cannot feel safe being led by a man whose strength disappears the moment she questions it. The way to pass this test is almost paradoxical. You do almost nothing. You respond with what I call grounded amusement. You look at her the way a deeply secure person looks at a minor provocation, not with contempt, not with anger, but with a quiet, unshakable calm that says your words are simply too small to move me. You can meet her challenge with silence, strong, steady eye contact, a slight shake of the head, a small smile, and then you simply continue doing exactly what you are doing. No explanation, no defense, just the unspoken message. I know who I am, and nothing you say changes that. Or you can meet it with playful agreement. If she says, "You really think you can pull that off?" You smile and say, "Absolutely not. I am probably going to fail spectacularly. Should be entertaining." When you laugh at the attempt to shake you, you rob it of all its power. And here is what happens when a woman repeatedly tests a man and finds that he will not be moved. Her anxiety quietly settles. Her subconscious mind receives the answer it was looking for. He is solid. He is real. He is safe. The testing stops not because she gave up, but because she no longer needs the answer. She already has it. Here's the truth that ties all four of these reasons together. People teach us how to treat them by what they are willing to accept. If disrespect enters your relationship and you absorb it in silence, or try to love your way around it, or hope that being kind enough will eventually fix it, you are inadvertently giving it permission to stay. You are not being strong by enduring it. You are being slowly emptied by it. Real strength in a relationship looks like calm clarity. It looks like knowing your own worth so deeply that no one's opinion of you, not even the person you love most, can shake your foundation. A woman who genuinely loves you, who is emotionally available and wants to build something real, will see that strength and she will rise to meet it. She will respect you more for holding your ground than she ever would have for letting her run roughshod over your self-worth. And a woman who is simply using you as an outlet for her own unhealed pain, when she realizes that outlet has been closed, she will either choose to grow or she will choose to go. And I want you to hear this clearly. Either outcome is a form of freedom for you. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Which of these four reasons resonated most deeply with your own experience? Have you ever caught yourself shrinking in a relationship, trying to earn respect that should have been freely given? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this video gave you clarity or a new way of seeing your situation, please share it with a man in your life who could benefit from hearing this message. Hit the like button. It helps this content reach the people who need it most. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is the time. Turn on the notification bell so you are always the first to know when we release something new. I am Mary Smith. Stay grounded, stay warm, stay unshakable, and never, ever make yourself small for anyone.